Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome everybody out to our July 21st meeting. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Deputy Mayor Johnson.
Present.
Councilmember King.
Present.
Councilmember Gilliam.
Present.
Councilmember Castema.
Present.
Councilmember Smolka.
Present.
Councilmember Adler.
Present.
Mayor Whitting.
Present. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. We now move into citizen comments. For those that are not familiar with our process, you can fill out one of these green sheets at the table back there and give them to the city clerk and he'll get them to me. If you don't want to fill one out, I'll call for anybody that wants to speak after I've called on all the ones that have signed up. So we'll start off with Val Dent. Oh, yes. Would the clerk please provide the instructions for public comment?
This part of the meeting is for general citizen comments. Please reserve any public hearing testimony to that section of the agenda. The mayor will call on those who have provided their names in advance. Then the mayor will call for other citizens who wish to speak. For the record, please state your name and address or city council district in which you reside. Please direct your comments to the council as a whole, not individual council members. All comments are limited to 3 minutes. The clerk will provide verbal notice when only 30 seconds remain. As a reminder, this portion of the meeting is council's opportunity to hear from the community and not a time to engage in debate. Lastly, per state law, this public comment period cannot be used to speak in support of or in opposition to a ballot measure or individual candidacy, and no such comments will be allowed.
Thank you.
Valerie Dent, District 2. I want to talk about the vanity flagpole, the budget, and the possible future home of the vanity flagpole. First, I misstated that the flagpole would be state property after installation. It would have been if the right-of-way hadn't been transferred to the city of Puyallup. I forgot that the two people responsible for this are realtors and know how to work the system to get permitting and title changes done fairly quickly. There are some rumors going around that the Tiffany property may be the final resting place. Will that land be donated? Will it be eminent domain? Will it be fair market value? And if fair market value, are we going to be paying this in extra taxes over the next decades? This property has been hard to sell since before the fire. The fact that the only commercial delivery or shipping entrance would be northbound SR 161, and the on and off ramp would need to be rebuilt to accommodate large trucks and trailers, making this property undesirable. Currently, the average cost for routine maintenance and flag replacement is approximately $10,000 a year. The city's capital project manager more or less begged for more monies to do the jobs that have been left on the books for at least a decade due to the lack of funding increases. Their fundings have not increased in 10 years. That $10,000 will now be added to their already overstretched budget. To pay for the required maintenance of this flagpole and replacement flags, there will need to be an increase in taxes at approximately 23 cents per household. This is a forever tax as the flagpole is to be permanent. One city council member had the gall to say they wanted to see how the city budget was doing compared to other cities in the area, as they felt the city was staying in the black, whereas others were in the red. If your wasteful spending continues, we'll find out really soon.
30 seconds.
I am requesting a no to the second reading and possible voting on the ordinance pertaining to the budget. Page 34 of tonight's agenda, Exhibits A and B. I'm also requesting a full public financial disclosure as to where the funding is currently scheduled to come from, if not already placed, for the annual maintenance
Mr. Mayor,
required
speakers
for
reach
this
3 minutes.
project. I'm also requesting that this
Val.
project,
Val, we need to hold it to 3.
I want to vote on this for the citizens. I'm requesting that this be voted on. Thank you.
Our next speaker will be Mitzi McMahon.
Good evening, Council. I'm Mitzi McMahon. I live at 809 West Main, right across from PHS Portables. I want to first thank the Puyallup Police Department because I know at the end of the year there was a lot of enforcement out there. Our parking enforcement officer was busy as well, and you got to see firsthand some of the misguided driving going on. That's appreciated. I don't want to leave that out. So I think you got to see what the residents have been raising concerns about during arrival and release times. The presence made a huge difference during school hours. One significant gap remains rush hour. We continue to see heavy traffic through our residential streets during these periods with far less monitoring. And now that school's out, the neighborhood is noticeably calmer. That contrast demonstrates how significantly school traffic, and particularly the street closure, has changed traffic patterns throughout our neighborhood. The closure has created cut-through routes on residential streets that weren't designed for this traffic. We see the speeding, drivers running stop signs, U-turns and intersections, congestion, and pedestrians navigating areas with limited sidewalks and no safe crossings. It's not about whether the street stays open or closed. It's about what the closure has done to the surrounding neighborhood and whether those impacts have been adequately evaluated and addressed. If the closure remains, the city needs to address those consequences. We should be discussing traffic calming measures such as speed humps or cushions, small traffic circles, improved pedestrian crossings for sure, and other potential engineering solutions that slow vehicles and discourage the cut-through traffic. Enforcement is important, but our police can't permanently be stationed throughout the neighborhood. We need physical solutions that improve safety even when officers aren't present. And that brings me to my specific request. Please postpone the upcoming September 1st public hearing until at least 1 month into the school year. School won't even be in session when the hearing is currently scheduled. It's not equitable to consider a permanent decision about school-related traffic and neighborhood safety when the conditions aren't and concerns won't even be occurring. Waiting a month would allow council and city staff to observe the neighborhood while school is in session and have meaningful conversation with residents. It would give the city and residents time to meet and identify traffic calming solutions before a permanent decision is made. We
30
all
seconds.
want students to be safe, but solving one safety problem can't mean transferring that risk onto the residents and pedestrians. Please give us the opportunity to evaluate this under real conditions and work together with solutions first. The neighbors are willing and able to meet with city staff to review and to have you all come out and really see what it's like. Our police know. They've seen some of the nonsense going on, but I would encourage everyone to come out and see after school's in session
Mr.
what
Mayor,
is going
speakers
on.
reach 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Our next speaker will be Andrelyn Squerdo.
Good evening, council members. I think you nailed it, Mr. Mayor, this time. I am from Pierce County District 2, Angela Nisquierdo. I'll be speaking on encouraging fairer treatment for women online. So I'd like to share a note to the community and for government to help shift our culture on how women are seen. I recognize the hard work and I'm very grateful for what's already been happening. The sexual exploitation is wrong. One should not participate in the act of passing around nude photos and videos, AKA pornography, of an individual to as many people as possible for reasons that are blackmail, jealousy, embarrassment, or any other excuse used by the perpetrator because it is against the law. It is also unethical, meaning that it is just not hurtful. It is not just hurtful to someone's feelings, but it is a dishonest representation of a person when context is changed and the image is altered on or off the screen. It is considered unfair as the act is done before a person can defend oneself. This ruthless form of cyberbullying that is a branch of human trafficking, cyber trafficking, that gets so out of control quicker than a wildfire spread, that is down and dirty corruption. While this happens to everyone, it is more common for women to be uploaded onto pornography. Everyone is not a porn star, and more often than not, no consent nor agreement is made for the full frontal exposure to be displayed. Audio is included, but is not as negatively impactful on all entire communities to enter a downward spiral of hate and rumors from a single picture or a 10-minute clip. Something has got to give to make it all stop. It is a form of violence and an abuse of power on a woman, like me, in having possession of such X-rated material or creating it. We people have to speak up when this occurs immediately and with gusto against the usual downfall of the victim's reputation. It happens to children too. Don't do the monkey see, monkey do choice following peer pressure. Please help break the cycle of
30
unfair
seconds.
treatment. Thank you. Use all of your voices to help end these hateful actions and treat women and children fairer than you have before. Please and thank you.
Thank you. We'll now hear from Matthew Karras.
Hey, y'all. Okay. Every 2 years, the city of Puyallup gives out surveys for the public to fill out. Citizens share their thoughts and concerns about a variety of issues concerning them. Throughout our 3 districts, issues such as public safety, general city maintenance, local neighborhood road and sidewalk maintenance, safe and affordable housing, local business and economic prosperities, and in general, outreach are asked about. Are we satisfied or dissatisfied with the services the city provides? As a citizen in District 3, I want to first share a few statistics that I learned. Out of roughly 42,000 people who live within the city, only 450 to 460 surveys were sent out. This results in less than 1% total of the residents who make up our city. In one category of the city's survey, they asked us how the city does with public outreach. I am not the greatest mathematician, but it seems that a lot of the folks who make up this city are not asked these very questions. In fact, I had to find the city survey on social media from another Puyallup citizen who posted about it. My question tonight is, can the city do better with meaningful outreach when gauging what the members of the city will like? Tonight, there's going to be discussion on projects that will impact our community. I challenge each of you to ask yourselves, if you are not on the council tonight, let's just say you're somewhere else, let's just say you had a different job, would you know tonight's agenda? Like it or not, citizens have already created their own surveys, whether you're aware of it or not. Sometimes these surveys are through social media posts with folks commenting, stitching or engaging. Other times, these surveys are sent out through email or through the postal service. Lastly, some folks have done surveys by simply asking their family and neighbors questions when they are out and about. Overall, With these surveys and outreach of community members, people are beginning to take meaningful
30
and
seconds.
actionable change. Throughout Pierce County, people are starting to organize about local issues impacting them, whether it's flock cameras or whether it's the local infrastructure next to PHS. We are beginning to organize, and that is something that you guys should all be aware about. As a city council, it is your job to work with the people to make it happen. Thank you.
Our next speaker will be Bud Metzger.
Bud Metzger, District 3, thank you. I have to say the last council meeting was pretty disappointing regarding some council behaviors that really showed disrespect for this process and the mayor. I think it degraded the city by his presentation, and he should apologize to the mayor for his disrespect for that position, as he's had plenty of political experience to know that that was over the top. Secondly, I'd like to say that, we have significant problems in the city that for some reason you guys are having a hard time accepting. Like when you got the report on the streets department, there was only one council member that really spoke to the importance of addressing it. Because from my point of view, the staff was giving you an option of how to save millions of dollars on taking care of our streets. And all I heard was, from the council, was, oh, I thought that was all fine. And you're telling me this now, which means he hasn't done his homework. And secondly, well, if another city is worse than us, then somehow it's okay for us to be where we are. It isn't. Do you see how much it cost to overlay the road from Meridian on your agenda? I know some of the council's writing things down. Do you want me to provide a written record of my statement for you, sir? Sir? Apparently he's not listening. Yeah, so I'm just wondering, it's hard to tell when people are listening, and it's, but apparently they feel that this is their time to do something else, as in they didn't prepare for the meeting before the meeting, and I've seen that a number of times too. So did you see on the agenda how much it cost to overlay 31st between Meridian and 7th Street? Have you seen it on the agenda? Do we want that? It's a lot cheaper to do chip seal. Do we want to have to do that more? Because if you follow the direction and fund the city streets department, we'll save millions of dollars. But I don't think you
30
guys
seconds.
really get it. You're just trying to dodge it. Please, don't dodge it. It's mismanagement of our money, and it'll lead to degradation of the city. So please, despite your positions, if you don't use them wisely, it'll degrade our city, and that'll be rough for everybody. And lastly, real quick, the person that came and spoke about helping the needy, especially after some of the nurses
Mr. Mayor,
told you,
Speakers reached 3 minutes.
yeah, you shouldn't just tell them to tough it out. Councilman, these people are suffering. They're the ones that take care of us. You should give them a respect.
Thank you. Our next speaker will be Eric Shosey.
Before I begin, I'd like to take a moment to loosely define mosaic theory. Mosaic theory is a concept used in RICO cases. It can also be applied as an approach to criminology. Mosaic theory takes a look at the culmination of events and actions, highlighting that individually each item may fail to meet specific legal standards, but when taken in as one, the sum of the events reveals a pattern of activity that supports a more nefarious conclusion. I've been coming to these meetings for a little over a year and a half. I've noticed a trend that I'd like to draw attention to in the hopes that you might see it as well. My first introduction to city council meetings was during the charter review process. I recall being amazed at the involvement of the community and equally mollified by the city's response. Puyallup's previous mayor submitted an amendment that rewrote the well-documented historical mistreatment of the Puyallup people, aligning Puyallup with Executive Order 14253, restoring truth and sanity to American history. Which struck me as odd, but then the previous mayor gave away the game when adding an amendment to the charter that said we would adopt all applicable executive orders, which goes to show that none of those should ever be applied to us because we're not federal. But that didn't stop him and the council. We were all put forth an amendment to remove specific lawfully mandated DEI language from the charter. Despite immense pushback and questions of legality, it was passed, aligning Puyallup with Executive Order 14151, ending DEI language in federal government. The city of Puyallup spent $4 million to help the fair spruce up a street, while Puyallup High School loses its pool and has no library. Despite the loss of education infrastructure and amenities, the need for more classrooms, and extreme community pushback, we just spent $150,000 on a flag. In Trumpian fashion, the flag was not ready in time for the 4th of July as promised. However, these efforts aligned Puyallup with Executive Order 14189 by following recommendations presented through the White House Task Force on Celebrating America's 250th birthday, specifically the call to celebrate and commemorate, publicly acknowledge, and participate in American 250 activities. Which brings me back to mosaic theory. There is more to the list, but it'll suffice to say that when observing these results together, a concentrated effort to mirror the wasteful, societal harming actions of a madman become all too apparent. Each event alone is noteworthy, but together, it's an all-out assault against our community's values. The city of Puyallup did not fall. Oh, hold up. Oh, man.
30 seconds.
Thank you. For those of you not lost to MAGA megalomania, I ask that you begin to push back harder. You're in a position of power, in a position of authority, and we've entrusted you with that. And if there's ever a moment to rise to that authority, both here locally
Mr. Mayor.
and across the
3
globe,
minutes.
that moment's now. Thank you.
That completes the list of people that have signed up in advance. Is there anybody else that would like to speak? Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda is comprised of items that are not considered to be controversial and which the council is likely to be unanimous upon. Is there anything on the consent agenda that a council member would like removed? Seeing none, do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
The motion has been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We're now entering part 3 of our agenda, a public hearing regarding the emergency moratorium on battery energy storage systems facilities. And we'll have a presentation by Senior Planner Chris Beal. Welcome, Chris.
Hi, Mayor. My name is Chris Beal. I'm the Planning Manager for the Planning Division. Tonight I'm going to give a short presentation on battery energy storage systems. The Council's familiar with this as they adopted a moratorium in June. That moratorium in June is under Ordinance 3344, which was adopted again on June 2nd, 2026. That ordinance set out that the council would hold a public hearing within 60 days, which will be held tonight. The background on this is that the moratorium basically temporarily pauses the acceptance, processing, and approval of any applications for some specific large-scale battery energy storage systems or facilities that are called BESS in acronym form. There are some exemptions for residential scale battery systems, for backup power, and consumer products for routine use. Battery energy storage systems are basically large-scale batteries that are storing electricity, oftentimes for the grid, for later use. They can be used for energy reliability, grid stability, renewable energy integration, and emergency backup power in specific scenarios. And again, systems can range from small residential backup batteries to large-scale utility-sized facilities. Some of the potential benefits of BESS does support energy resiliency and reliability, particularly for the grid, for providers like PSE. Helps balance electricity demands during peak usage periods. It also can assist with renewable energy projects and grid modernization, and they may support emergency backup power in the event that we need that for future use. There are some risks, obviously, that come with BESS facilities as well. That was outlined in the moratorium. They're fairly new within the region. We have seen some potential applications for BESS. We're not currently processing any, but we have spoken to some developers about them. There are unique issues with life safety concerns, infrastructure and emergency response considerations. Those things need to be studied. So the moratorium allows for essentially that temporary pause for us to take a look at the best practices out there, the information that's available, baselining other jurisdictions and seeing what other neighboring cities are doing, neighboring counties are doing, and come back to the council with permanent regulations. So this is the work plan. Again, the one-year moratorium would end 1 year from the original adoption in June of 2027. We're here tonight, July 21st, 2026. The council will conduct a public hearing and accept public testimony. Later, we'll be doing stakeholder engagement and policy preparation, working through that with the Planning Commission into the beginning of next year, and then returning to council in Q1 and Q2 for consideration of final regulations and hopefully adoption or potential extension if we aren't ready to adopt in June of 2027. So that's the end of my presentation. The council will conduct a public hearing at this point, but I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Chris. I will now open the public hearing for citizen comments. Each speaker during this portion of our meeting is allowed 2 minutes. Is there anyone who would like to speak at this time?
Bud Metzger, District 3. This is a form of energy transfer that's really super interesting science. And being that because of climate change, we're being forced into trying to get different methods of electricity and heating and store those. We're using technologies that haven't been proven out over time as well as we would have hoped, because some political entities have dragged their feet for a long time. I think that it's good to analyze, with the experts and the research that they do regarding batteries, because as you can see from Ferrucci, accidents happen and they're expensive and they're hard to deal with. I think the school district's done a great job with that. It's super hard to adjust the classes and to make sure they maintain a non-toxic environment in that school. And remember, we need Central Pierce and others to be involved in these decisions, as well as maybe somebody from WSU or UW. I mean, we want the smartest people about the topic we can get, and because it's going to make a difference here. And if we happen to be the one that set the gold standard, well, yay. So, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers? Okay, we received a public comment in advance of the meeting tonight, and I think it's appropriate that I read it at this time, so I'd like to read it into the record for the public, so the public can hear it. It says, "Dear members of the City Council," it comes from Christine Nahn of Puget Sound Energy. It says, "Dear members of the City Council, on behalf of Puget Sound Energy, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to comment on proposed ordinance number 3344 related to battery energy storage systems, BESS acronym. Puget Sound Energy is Washington State's largest utility, serving about 1.2 million electric customers and 900,000 natural gas customers across our service territory. For over 150 years, our focus has been consistent on providing safe, reliable, and affordable energy services to the region. Puget Sound Energy is undergoing the most significant transformation in our history as we strive to meet Washington State's clean energy laws. Passed in 2019, the Clean Energy Transformation Act commits Washington to phasing out coal, which Puget Sound Energy successfully did at the end of 2025, a carbon-neutral electrical supply by 2030, and 100% clean energy by 2045. CETA includes specific requirements for utilities to meet these goals, ensuring that all customers equitably benefit from the transition to clean energy. It is our goal to collaborate with customers, municipalities, and industries to identify programs, products, and new technologies that continue to meet their reliability needs while cost-effectively reducing carbon emissions. In addition to adding new clean energy resources, our region is growing, and policy changes at the local, state, and federal level are driving an increased demand for electricity. As a result, our electric grid is often near capacity, putting people at risk from outages and disruptions. When energy demand surges, BESS, the battery storage systems, can help provide reliable, cost-effective, and immediate power to help avoid outages and rolling blackouts. Puget Sound Energy sees batteries as essential utility infrastructure for our energy future to maintain grid reliability, accommodate increased demand for electricity, and improve the efficiency of intermittent resources like wind and solar. Our efforts include both utility scale and smaller residential or community-sided batteries. BESS are not one size fits all. Across our service area, there are unique geographic and weather challenges, different energy needs, and varying infrastructure. We have an obligation to identify potential impacts that local plans and development regulations may have on our ability to maintain, operate, and plan for the area's electric energy system. We have worked successfully in other jurisdictions with staff, local labor partners, first responders, and elected officials to craft sensible policy that allows the safe and critical deployment of BESS. Puget Sound Energy looks forward to working with the City of Puyallup on development regulations that fit the demands and needs of Puyallup residents. Again, thank you for your opportunity to provide comments. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me, Christine Nahn, Puget Sound Energy. So with that, are there any further public comments? One last shot. Hearing none, the public hearing is closed. And that completes that item on our agenda. We'll now move on to item number 4A, a second reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 8.08 Animals and Chapter 2050 Single-Family Residence Zones of the Puyallup Municipal Code. Code Compliance Officer Shane Piran is available to answer questions. This is a second reading. Do I hear a motion on this item?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve second reading of item 4A as we've successfully passed on the first motion to make this official.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Mayor Whitting, would you like me to do the roll call vote?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Councilmember King?
Aye.
Councilmember Gilliam?
Aye.
Councilmember Castro?
Aye.
Councilmember Smolko?
Aye.
Councilmember Adler?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Johnson?
Emphatic aye, thank you.
Mayor Whitting?
Aye. We'll now move on to item 4B, second reading of an ordinance pertaining to routine 2026 budget adjustments. Once again, we have Finance Director Barbara Lopez available to answer questions if there are any. Do I hear a motion to approve second reading?
Mr. Mayor, I recommend that we approve second reading as listed on 4B.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please so indicate.
Aye.
Any opposed? Roll call vote.
Councilmember Gilliam?
Aye.
Councilmember Castro?
Aye.
Councilmember Smolko?
Aye.
Councilmember Adler?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Johnson?
Aye.
Councilmember King?
Aye.
Mayor Whitting.
Aye. Okay, moving right along, we move on to item 5A, resolution. We're considering a resolution setting a public hearing for a petition to vacate a portion of West Main between 6th Street Southwest and 7th Street Southwest and all of 7th Street Northwest between West Main and 2nd Avenue Northwest. We have discussed this item a number of times in the past, the underlying matter, but tonight's agenda is a resolution to set a public hearing, not the underlying matter. So I would hope that we could limit our comments to that. Do we feel like we need an introduction to this resolution? Doesn't sound like it. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Mayor, I am sorry. I have identified myself in the queue, and I was waiting to be called.
Sorry, Councilmember Castema, I missed that. Councilmember Castema.
Yes, I move that a public hearing actually would take place on the 15th, not September 1st as specified in the underlying resolution. And this would allow us to go ahead and have that public hearing while the school has opened. And keep in mind, that is just a public hearing. And if there is a first reading, that will be at that moment. And then 2 weeks later, which would be about a month past this date here, we would be looking at potential second reading. And I think that that would just be a wiser approach at this stage. So that's the motion.
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion moved and seconded. Deputy Mayor Johnson.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Maybe City Manager, could you clarify the process of this? Maybe he's not here. Maybe Hans, you could talk about the process. So the adoption for a public hearing is going to be coming forward. Tell me the process. A public hearing will be held. Would it be held here in this chamber with the council? Would it be held with some other stakeholders? Give me the idea of the process. Once that public hearing takes place, then what would be the course of action beyond that? And then what would happen for potential adoption? Walk through the process. We understand what kind of vetting still needs to take place before any final decisions are made.
Yes, so once the public hearing is set, that we have required 30 days to give notification. So we post on the site where the street's being vacated. We post in 3 other public spots to let people know that this is coming. That's the minimum. We can do more than that to advertise for the public hearing. Once the public hearing has happened, then it's allowed to pass an ordinance to consider closing the road. It doesn't have to happen at the same night as the public hearing, but it can happen, and that's 2 readings.
And that would be held here in the council chambers with the council here to listen to the public hearing and give comments and ask questions at that time?
That's how it's currently proposed,
okay.
Yes.
So there'll be a chance to comment on that. Yeah, I certainly agree with the public hearing. It should happen. Have there been any? There hasn't been an official public hearing, but there has been some, I understand, some public interaction at some point in various settings, community settings. Is that correct?
Correct, yes. We've had much interaction with the school district on trying to put out kind of what would happen for the surrounding neighborhoods and also the road closure area there. And then there's been people coming to the council, as you already know.
Mm-hmm. So once the public hearing is set, assuming that Councilmember Castema's motion for the 15th is passed, which I'm sure it probably will, could there be action that night, or would there be deliberation beyond that 15th in terms of council potential action?
I think that's very much up to the council if they want to have that happen that night, or if they want to, have further discussion.
Yeah. So with that knowledge in mind, I'd like to make a few more comments on this, Mayor. Since potential action could happen on the 15th, it would be good to, I think, get out ahead of this a little bit more. So I want to make a few comments on this. To me, beyond the growth of the campus, which certainly has been indicated that they're growing, Looking at some of the school's own data, they had enrollment in 2023 at about 1,600 students, enrollment 2024, 1,700. I don't know what 2025, 26 are, but I suspect it's probably growing, so the campus is, increasing. The footprint certainly is small. This has grown over the years. So I think there's that growth capacity issue. And they own the majority of the land, I think, to the west of that, with a few private properties, of course, are included in there aside from that. But for me, the issue is not so much granting them expansion for growth's sake, although I think there's some merit to that. I really believe there are two things. Number one, and most important and paramount, is the public safety of the students is, to me, paramount. When you have the parking lot across the street that looks like up here, most of the seniors park there, and these portable buildings that they have to cross the street and so forth, so on, plus all the games and things going on, and having a street going right through the middle of this dual side property is public safety is the issue. I did look at history and have some public documents that I requested and received. And back in August of 2024, the school had come to the city and made a presentation. They wanted to vacate 3 roads, including 3rd, as well as Main Street and so forth. That has since backpedaled to, I think, just 2nd and that Main Street. And I understand that part of that could have been budgeting concerns and constraints. Certainly I'm empathetic to that. I understand budget constraints. But I wouldn't want budget constraints to get in the way of public safety. And for me, I wasn't a huge fan of the closure of any of the roads, quite frankly. But for me, the deciding factor was the time-lapse video that the school put together that showed the students going back and forth across that road throughout the day, and it was quite intense. You saw cars weaving and stopping, and I even took and watched the time-lapse video and slowed it down, slower motion, and there were some pretty close calls where there's jaywalking all the way up and down those 2-block radius in between, weaving through cars turning. To me, it's an absolute public safety issue. So there's conversations about just one street closure, not both. For me, the closure of one and settling for just one, if in fact it's due to budget constraints, is not acceptable for me. And I'm not going to let budget get in the way of the public safety of the students or anybody else who happens to be visiting and walking back and forth on that. So for me, it's out of the picture, and I think there is a liability concern if just one street is allowed and not the full initial 2 streets as was initially proposed. I want nothing to do with that as an individual council member. I would hope that we as a council would want nothing to do with that either by settling for just one street closure, 1 block versus 2. Secondarily, mitigation to those affected by it comes really hard in follow to that. That has to be addressed. I'm not sure if we've reached that with the neighbors there. The school has reached that with the neighbors. So I think there's more work to be done there. I'm not satisfied with the outcome on that. I think it can be a win-win. I think we can have public safety with both those blocks vacated and a continuous campus between the ball field and the parking lot, between the gym and the portables. All that can happen. We've already vacated a street just around the corner there, so it makes sense to vacate that between the buildings for safety. To settle for 1 block is, I think, budget conscious and appreciated, but it's not wise in terms of long-term growth. That school's not going to get any smaller. It's going to continue to be a landmark down there. So it's inevitable that street will be vacated at some point, but why would we want to delay that due to budget constraints or other matters? Steve, do we have that time-lapse video that we could prime up and show that again? Is that possible?
If council would like to see it, it is available, yes.
Council, I'd like to take a look at that document publicly. We've only seen that once. Is that something that council would be open to doing? Is there a resistance to that?
Councilmember Gilliam.
I was just curious if we can save that for September 15th? Or
Well-
because just for, that's the appropriate time for this?
Out of respect,
Hang on,
September 15th could be a decision maker. We should look at that now as a preface.
My sense is that the 15th is a public hearing, and we won't be taking action in all likelihood at that time, so I think there's plenty of time to do that in the future. I would suggest that we can have that at that point in time. And
Mr. Mayor, I made a request, and I understand it's up to the council. I'd like to make a motion that we show the video and maybe get council support or against that. I don't think it could harm to have it here tonight. It is an item on our agenda. We shouldn't be afraid to look at the data. The people here deserve to see this video, and people watching online deserve to see this video, rather than at the day of the 15th, when I asked Hans Hunger that we could take action that night, we could. So I'm not convinced that we won't take action that night. We may or may not, but this is a great time. It's on our agenda. I'm asking for that and would petition the council not to hold that back.
So just clarification, Mr. Mayor. Do we want to show the video tonight? Is that the request, or that it be distributed to all of us? Because I would gladly have it distributed to me, and I will watch it. But I don't know if technically if it's possible for that to happen, if that is so your request.
Everyone's received it, Councilor Castama. All council members have received it several weeks ago, and I'm asking to be viewed publicly so the public can see it.
Excuse me, as chair, we need to have the floor yielded to you, and so we've kind of broken that twice in succession. So I'm going to ask that we not do that in future.
Mr. Mayor, are you referring to me? Because I'm still up on the queue. I haven't finished my conversation.
You made a motion.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm going to ask for a second.
Okay.
Second.
Second, okay, we have it moved and seconded. Any discussion of the motion to see, review the video?
Mr. Mayor, just clarify what the motion is. Is it to see the video now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
Councilmember Castama, could you please hit your button? I missed you earlier in the thing, but I would appreciate it if you'd hit your button.
Well, you just asked if anyone had a question, and I answered.
And so we'll take responses in the order they're received when people push the button. So I can't, in order to control the meeting, I would appreciate it if you would push the button. Thank you. So we're, I will call the question. All those in favor of the motion, please so indicate.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll watch the video.
And then, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to continue to comment, because I made the motion to watch the video, but I still want to continue to talk about that afterwards, so I'd like to continue that after the video, please.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you can see in that time lapse, there's quite a few close calls, specifically on some of those trucks coming through and the buses. They were jaywalking all the way up and down that street, all the way through, weaving through traffic. I slowed it down and watched it half speed, and still very, very close calls on there. And that was just one window of time that we're seeing in here. Keep in mind that the school district prepared that video to make the case that there is a public safety potential here beyond just the expansion of classes. And therefore, to settle for the closure of one block, it defeats the purpose of, if our paramount is really about public safety, we need to remain true to that and not ignore that fact that they initially recommend that. I wasn't, like I mentioned, I wasn't a fan of closing any of the streets up, but once I saw that, that was a game changer for me. To me, to pass a one block only would be, in my opinion, respectfully, unwise and not prudent to 1,700 plus students and family on weekends and evenings that are using that street crossing back and forth with all the traffic in between there. To me, it would be unwise. I want to read a copy of the handout that the school put together. And this is what they said at the time, and you can't just change your mind because either these points were valid then and not valid now because of whatever reasons. I don't know, money shortages, I have no idea. That's my understanding. But here's what they said, and this is why both roads, 2 blocks were initially proposed. This is what they said: why is a road closure needed? Point number 1, to enhance student safety and to reduce the risk of accidents as a result of increased pedestrian traffic between the main campus and the portable classrooms. And then number 2, to provide a more cohesive and secure campus. It's all about public safety. And to limit it to 1 block is kind of doing a halfway job. And if money is an issue, I'm empathetic to funding, don't get me wrong. But why couldn't public safety be paramount and protect the students going back and forth between those 2 blocks, and then work with the school on delaying some funding options? If they can only have so much budgeted to do it, well then do the improvements what you have and then have some provisions put in that at some point when money comes along, they can enhance that. And so I think to me that's the big issue. And let's just be, let's be practical. You saw the jaywalking going on both streets. Tell me what happens when you squeeze and just close out 1 block. You don't think they're going to cross and concentrate on the other one? It's going to concentrate. It's going to funnel right into that. And so, and cars coming down to take that right-hand turn is going to be even more congested. So council and the public, I would petition that we look at the school district's initial proposal and we grant those 2 blocks and that only, and not settle for 1. And I do have a copy of the presentation that stated both blocks being closed. On paper it says they requested West Main and 7th, 2nd Avenue Northwest and 7th, 3rd Avenue Northwest and 7th. That's what they stated initially, and then something changed. Again, I don't know what the reasons for, but if it's for public safety, show me the data that closing 1 block is going to make it safer. It's not going to be there. Nobody in their right mind is going to be able to do that. So we need to hold public safety in high regard. We know it's going to inconvenience a few folks. I get that. That's where I think the school can do a better job of mitigating those concerns with the neighbors. It doesn't have to be one or the other. We can have public safety, full protection on 2 blocks, and then provide mitigation and speeding in the areas of the diversion of traffic. Now, I'm all for, I think we should go with the initial school's recommendation. I don't think we should settle. I'm all for teeth and clamps to make sure that we mitigate unnecessary increased traffic around that area affected. I'm proposing speed cameras to be put in there around schools. We can legally do that in the state of Washington. I'm proposing serious mitigation of speed bumps and or roundabout, whatever it takes to slow that down with stop signs. I'm proposing even a school resource officer to be there during peak times because we pay them to do that. School pays them, excuse me, to help be a presence there. So we can do that. And I want to remind folks that when we put in what I call teeth or clamps to discourage bad behavior in concentrated areas, Many times people will go around that area and not go there because they don't want to be ticketed or fined or whatever. So at some point down the road, that area, I think you'll see a diminished traffic because nobody wants to get a ticket. I see that time and time again. I tell people, hey, they know where all the traffic cameras are in Puyallup, and they typically will go a different way because they don't want to get stuck getting a ticket there. So people will get the picture, hey, listen, I don't want to go down that street with this mitigation issue and the strong clamps, and you'll diminish some of the traffic there. We won't stop all of it, but I think people will realize I don't want to take a chance and get a ticket there. So council, in public, I want to remind you what the school said initially. I'm not going to let that go away. Closing one street does not solve the problem unless they can show professional data that says that closing one street somehow is not going to concentrate them to the other street, and we have the same issue. And I will not accept any potential of in my opinion, as a council member, and I hope as a council, any liability of settling for one street and then something, God forbid, something should happen. And where was the courage and the hindsight of the council to say, listen, we're going to hold this as a public safety issue. Let's do it right. And let's work on mitigation to make sure neighbors are taken care of. It can be a win-win. We can have public safety paramount, work with the neighbors as secondarily. We don't have to have one or the other, and one block is not going to cut it for me and for many others. So thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's all I had.
Councilmember Adler.
Thank you. I don't mean to belabor this point, mostly because the process will allow us to have future debate in the fall. But I did just want to highlight what we were shown because I think context is important. And so that was a video that was provided to the council by the school district at some point over the last year. It looks like that video was taken in January of 2024 in the morning. And so, or in the afternoon rather. So I'm just going to say clearly the video is very impressionable, but that is just one angle and one area of a very obviously challenged neighborhood with pedestrian and vehicle traffic. I'm just going to put out there that it would be beneficial for me at some point to see updated video from across the campus at different times of the day. We're looking at, video that's over 2 years old. So certainly the issue hasn't gotten better, but just so that folks know what was just playing without, because I am sure many folks are going to tune in and there's not really going to be context. That's what it was. That's when it was taken. And I felt that should be flagged. Thank you.
Yes, and I'll jump in now as well. That video depicts conditions that no longer exist. The block for the past, I don't know how long it's been already vacated, the area that we're talking about vacating permanently. And I've walked that area during school hours, and the tenor of it has changed dramatically because that area between the portables and the campus, not between the gym and the parking lot, most of the traffic takes place between the portables and the campus. And that's been the reason for the need to vacate that portion, because with the addition of additional portables, you've got thousands of kids crossing the street there. So we absolutely have to do something there to protect those kids. But vacating the one block there has made a substantial difference, and because that's the conditions I looked at when I walked through there, I don't think that video that we saw is terribly relevant. I would like to show the council a video under the current circumstances. So if we are scheduling this for the middle of September, we have a school district representative here. I'd encourage an updated video that we could show at that point in time, as suggested by Councilmember Adler. And that would give us a better idea of what the conditions are. We certainly want to protect our kids. That's our number one concern here, but we don't want to make things worse to our community members and neighbors if that's not necessary. So that's my comment this time. Councilmember King. Oh, I'm sorry. I had Councilmember Smolko up there for a minute and it threw me off. So Councilmember Gilliam.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am looking forward to hearing from the residents on September 15th because I think your voice really matters. And I'm looking forward to the school district sharing their vision for growth and the validation of closing off that street. Or maybe it's not permanent, it's just semi-permanent because maybe there's other needs for growth on the other side of the campus. Either way, I'm really looking forward to comments on the 15th. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember King.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, as we come up on the next meeting for this topic on the 15th, I would definitely like to see if there was or can be brought forward a new or current traffic study over the past year. Obviously, we won't be able to do that into the new school year, but over this past year, that'd be great if there is anything there. Also, just a quick notable that have there been any incidents in this second block since the first block of vacation has occurred over the last school year? And I would also like to see what that future growth looks like on both east, west, north, south, wherever you can squeeze in. What does the future of PHS look like moving forward, whether it be a year, a decade, 20 years from now? What does that look like? That's what I would like to see. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we've gotten far afield from the original amendment. I believe we've got a motion and a second on the floor. Is that correct? Okay, so the motion is to set a public hearing on the 15th of September. All those that are in favor of that, please so indicate.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, we'll now consider the process for seeking proposals for use of city funds received from a state sales tax credit for the purposes of affordable housing, and we'll have a presentation by City Manager Steve Kirkley.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Steve Kirkley, your city manager. Very brief presentation this evening on the affordable housing sales tax credit. Just for this evening, I'll provide a very brief background on this and then go over the allowed uses of the funds, the available funds that we currently have in the budget, and then the recommended process for using the funds. So just as background, the affordable housing sales tax credit was adopted by the state legislature, Washington State Legislature in 2019. It was House Bill 1406, technically substitute House Bill 1406, but out in the city world, it's often referred to as House Bill 1406, HB 1406. It was a sales tax credit that the legislature adopted. I say that simply because it was not a sales tax increase. In essence, from a pragmatic standpoint, it was the state saying that the city could have a portion of the state sales tax on purchases here in the city of Puyallup. So in essence, redirecting a portion of the revenue to the city. You all, in February 2020, approved it, and we began collecting the sales tax in June of 2020. There are three categories for uses for these funds. This is all set by state law. One is capital investments, so it can go towards rehabilitating, acquiring, or constructing affordable or supportive housing. It could go towards operation and maintenance of that either new or existing affordable or supportive housing, or it can go to rental assistance to tenants. So those are the three broad categories that it can be used for. Currently, we have about $1.3 million in the fund. Our finance director, Barbara Lopez, is forecasting about $1.4 million at the end of the year. A portion of that 1.3 is interest, as it has been accumulating since mid-2020. And the recommended process going forward, and we're trying to look as we get towards the budget, is for staff to issue a request for proposal, put that out like we do for community grants and other funds, seek proposals, and then bring them back to you. And as part of your budget deliberations, make decisions on whether or not, what proposals, if any, you'd like to accept. So that's the presentation for this evening. Just looking for direction if that process sounds good or if there's another suggested process you'd like. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Deputy Mayor Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You had briefed me on this in our weekly discussion, I think a while back, and then recently, I think yesterday. And so I was aware of this opportunity that you brought to my attention. I did speak with the city manager as well. And if I understand correctly, are you looking for action tonight potentially from the council, or what are you looking for, Steve?
I don't need a vote unless you'd like to, just feedback. The recommended process would be the RFP. That's kind of a standard process that we would do. If there is another process that council would like us to proceed with, certainly I'm open to that. Okay. But mainly I'm just looking for feedback on my recommendation.
Well, if you don't need an official motion from the council, I'd certainly like to indicate clear direction that we should go out for an RFP. We should recoup these funds and utilize it locally as per what we feel is best for our city, and rather than let the state absorb that and may never see it. So if we have allotment to this funds and we can direct that to providing more affordable housing in our area through whatever organization is providing that, I think we should do it. So I hope that the council sees the same thing. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for bringing it to my attention.
Councilmember King.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, you and I had spoken about this a little bit in depth during our time on the briefing portion of this before council. And one of the things that comes to mind is these funds cannot be pulled back from the state if this program were to end. Is that correct?
So, and the finance director will correct me on this, but the funds up to this point, the 1.4 million, they're in our budget. So they are our funds. The legislation has a 20-year window, so it is good through 2040. The legislature at any time can obviously change the law and could change the law and take it back perhaps. But in terms of the funding that we have right now, it'd be pretty extreme for them to claw back the funds that are already within our budget.
Would it be more advantageous, since the law hasn't been brought forward or potentially discussed, that we utilize the money that is there and perhaps invest it to recap a yearly budget, perhaps the about 140,000 potentially a year on average, just talking about what the return would be on that. And that way we are able to do that. Can we do that? So that way the money is continuously, every year we're able to use that as an investment to put towards housing situations like this.
I get what you're saying. Barbara Lopez, Finance Director. The $137,000 or so that has been accrued in interest has been since we started receiving these funds in 2020. So that is not an annual amount. Right now, the annual amount that we're earning on it is somewhere more in the neighborhood of $35,000 to $40,000 a year.
Oh, I see.
Which again is, it's some dollars to spend, but then again, as markets change, the ability to earn that interest changes. So it depends on if you feel like the $35,000 or $40,000 a year would actually make a dent in what it is that you're trying to do.
I see. My objective to this whole conversation right here would be to utilize the funds that we do have, to roll those every year, to be able to sustain those donations throughout. But if council doesn't see that to be fitting, or if there isn't a market that we could put those in to be able to recoup a higher return, then obviously we got to do what we got to do. So that's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Councilmember Adler.
Thank you. Appreciate the short presentation. I just want to say that I support going out for an RFP. I wish that we would have spent the money sooner. Folks need housing. If we can contribute to the solution and be part of the solution, I think we should be doing that. I have had a state legislator tell me, I see or know that City of Puyallup has quite a bit of money, $1,406, and I have heard you have not spent them. You are not the only ones, but we're going to come for that money, is what this legislator told me. They, the state. The state is in a incredibly difficult financial budget situation. It's only getting worse as the forecasts continue. And, you know, outside of just my strong belief that we should be spending the dollars to help folks stay in their homes or access affordable housing, that is primary, but secondarily, we need to move the dollars. So thank you for bringing this forward, and I'm in support of what you've presented. Thank you.
Councilmember Smolko.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I need a new thing that's like point of ignorance is what I'm going to call this. So bear with me. Over 6 years that we've accumulated this 1.3 million, no proposals have been sought until recently. Is that accurate?
That is correct.
Okay. So I guess my question is, why now, or why did it take this long? It's fair that no process existed. Maybe that's the answer. Or is there a plan, or is there a plan to prevent lag on future collections of this type of money? Or will proposals continue to be solicited episodically? I'm not sure I care either way at this point. I'm just trying to understand some background before I ask my next question.
Sure. Yeah, I think ultimately a lot of that would be a council direction. At this point, the money has started to accumulate in the fund. And it's a council budget decision. And so I think getting the proposals, staff hasn't asked you to seek proposals before. We are now. And so if you all would say yes, go forward, then we'll bring the proposals forward. Whether or not those proposals, occupy the full 1.4 million or not, we'll have to see. And then ultimately, it really is each year, it's up to the council in terms of how you'd like to allocate those funds.
Okay, thank you. I think, Mr. Mayor, may I ask my follow-up?
Yes.
Okay. So the statute, again, as I understand it, allows for acquisition, construction, O&M for supportive housing, or rental assistance, which these are three very different things. So, and they serve different populations and different timelines. So I guess my question is, or my suggestion is that can we push for the RFP itself to state a priority of these, or split among the three? And that would be sort of my suggestion or question to pose to council, if not tonight, before major decisions are made. Just putting it out there as a concern.
Just as addressing that question a little bit, the RFP will bring in a variety of proposals and that may serve different aspects of it, and we will have the opportunity to select between the proposals and prioritize it as we see fit. Does that answer satisfactorily? Okay, Councilmember Castema.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. RFP is fine.
Thank you.
Councilmember Johnson, Deputy Mayor Johnson.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I want to tee up on what Councilor King stated as his interesting point. I think all of us, it seems like we're open to capturing those funds that are allocated to us and then deciding what to use it for if a good project comes up, and there's consensus on that. He raises a question of a hypothetical. So to protect those funds that we reserve for us in the potential that the legislator might pull those funds back and then we're not able to utilize those, is it possible that we can still go for the RFP and then make a decision or not on that, but still pull those funds and still designate them for low housing improvement and then wait for the right project to come on and let it accrue interest purposely for that? while we're waiting for that? Or do we have, once we pull it, do we have to spend it in an immediate period of time? Do we have time to let that accrue if we wanted to?
Yeah. So we have the 1.4 million already that we have. It's in our budget.
Oh.
I think the concern, of course, that is raised by, Councilmember Adler, and I think the mayor had also raised at one point, is that the legislature, the Washington State Legislature, may try to, remove that.
Withdraw it from our account? I mean, it's been given to us, it's in our account, they would have to bill us, is that what you're saying back?
I don't know how that would work. I don't know how that would
The
work.
impression I got is that they're holding it for us.
No.
Oh, so we have
It's in our
it.
budget. It's in our budget. We have it
okay.
in our budget.
So in other words, what is being said here, we've received the money, it's allocated to us lawfully and correctly, but there's a concern that they might bill us and say, you haven't spent it now, so we want it back. Is that what I'm hearing? And is there any precedence for that legally, that once it's been given and it's still designated for that and it hasn't been spent? I'd like to find out if there's any precedence of concern for this, or this is just I hear the talking points, but is there a legal means for the legislature, once it's been designated and handed over to the municipality, that if we haven't spent it yet because we're waiting for the right project, that they would bill us for that, so you have to give it back? That is what I would like to know while we're doing the RFP.
Sure. Yeah, I can. I can't answer that right now, so I'd have to look.
We should look at that, yeah, because I'm all about spending it if we find the right one, but if we don't find the right one and we're just spending it because we're concerned that it could be pulled out, I would want to check the legality of that. Can the state do that once it's been allocated and given? And as long as we're keeping that reserved for the intent of what it was given to us for, and if we haven't spent it, they shouldn't be able to pull that back just because there's shortfall. I could see if they were holding it for us, that's why I was a little concerned. If they were holding it, we haven't pulled it out, that they might try to spend it. But if it's already been allocated and we're reserving it exclusively for that, and we're intentional to make sure we use it for that, I don't want to spend it if in fact we're safe there from a legal aspect and wait for the right project. But I am all about the RFP. It makes sense to find it, to spend it now, but I don't want to base it off of fear or the assumption that it could get pulled without some legal challenge to know, do they really have standing or precedence to do that and not act out of hypotheticals.
Okay.
Councilmember King.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To Deputy Mayor Johnson's comment, frankly, the legislature can do whatever the heck they want. And we've seen a lot of unprecedented things over these past few years, unfortunately. And fortunately, if you want to believe that, that's fine. But the fact of the matter is, if there is unallocated money that hasn't been spent, they can pass a law and come back after it and heist it, essentially. So that's fine. If that's what they want to do, they have the power to do that. With that said, my question is, with the RFPs, multiple RFP filings come back, can we select more than one just for public record?
Yeah, I mean, there will be, in essence, $1.4 million.
But we can select more than one project.
As long as it fits within those three categories.
Perfect.
Correct. Yes.
Thank you.
Councilmember Adler.
Thank you. Just real quickly, Steve, I'm wondering if you may be able to just give a few quick examples of how, if you have them off the top of your head, I mean, I could, but I trust your brain prepared for this presentation better than mine, of what other jurisdictions, municipalities, how they have spent their funds.
Yeah, I wish my brain had a whole lot of projects. I would actually look, to a certain extent, the mayor may be able to say to that, simply because where I'm going with this is the South Sound Affordability Housing Action organization, which the mayor has been on. I know they have pooled together funds from other cities, these funds for these projects, and I believe there is one that they might be funding in Sumner, or something along those lines. So I'm sorry to disappoint you, Councilman Adler. I don't have anything specific, but I suspect the mayor might because of his involvement in SHAPE.
Thank you. I'm sure what the examples I am prepared or could give, the mayor probably can do a better job. So Thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of projects that a lot of organizations that would like to have access to these funds in order to be able to serve our community. And I can mention a number of them. We've talked about the SHAPE Capital Fund on multiple occasions, which is a way that several of our sister cities, Fife, University Place, I think Sumner's the third one that pooled their resources and put it into a capital fund that they're using to fund some projects. So that would be one option for us, but there's an immense number of other ones, and I've heard of many, but so I think there's a demand for these funds, and I think if we ask for an RFP, we'll be able to see the projects that are available. Most of us are not aware of the projects that are out there, so how can we make a good decision? So I think we need to issue this RFP and then see what comes in, and if we don't like any of the projects, we don't have to accept any of the projects, but let's get the process started. So I am strongly in favor of issuing an RFP for the amount of these funds. Any further comment? Okay.
Thank you.
And I've lost track of my, I guess we don't need a motion on this one, so I think we've given good direction, and we'll move on to our city manager's report. So Steve's a runner. He got back in plenty of time.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Your next meeting is not till October 25th, and we're still working on that.
August, not October.
Sorry. Wow. Thank you. August 25th. We're still working on that agenda, so I'm not prepared to discuss what items are on there yet. Well, I did want to just update you on the flag project. Last council meeting, there was a question on that, and so we have put an update out on the city's website, and it's there. I'll just read it to you. The Washington Department of Transportation has informed the city that the design builder for the Gateway Project, Highway 167 extension, anticipates receiving the flagpole by July 27th. The design builder's subcontractor will then need to weld the flag together as it comes in various pieces due to the 100-foot height. After the flagpole is welded together, it will then be painted. And at this point, the current estimate is that the pole will be placed sometime in late August or early September. So that's been updated on our website, and that comes directly from the Department of Transportation. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And do you have an updated figure on our?
The donations to the fund are right now stand at $57,000 approximately.
So no change from last week?
No.
Okay, thank you. So let's go to Councilmember Gilliam for council reports.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to appreciate all of our constituents that came out and spoke tonight. It's been an interesting week because we just met last week and now we're here again this week. And I've had the opportunity to meet up with some constituents about the PHS street vacation. And so it's, I just enjoy learning from our residents and what they're experiencing so that we can do our best to make the best decision for that area. Just wanted to throw that out there. Also, the farmers market continues to do very, very well. I'm on the Puyallup Main Street Association board. And so I get to hear the updates, and our city continues to be very inviting for everybody to come and enjoy our farmers market. The revenue continues to grow for the vendors. We're becoming more and more popular. People want to come and be in Puyallup and shop. So I apologize for missing the concerts in the park, but I'm looking forward to hearing the report from other council members that have been there. And for all the students that are still on summer break, let's just keep enjoying, and all the teachers keep being refreshed, and all the parents keep loving on your kids and making new memories. So thank you. enjoy your summer.
Well, as long as we're talking about concerts in the park, I better defer to Deputy Mayor Johnson for the report.
Are you calling on me now, Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I have some comments. I will touch on that. It's been a tremendous success, as always. Puyallup has a reputation for putting on great Concert in the Park series. Our Parks and Rec team do a great job in picking out the bands. And this year, some new additions is that this Parks and Rec team overseeing that contracted with a new sound company and a new sound system, and it sounds amazing. Before, it was a little bit tough because we kind of outgrew it. The system that we had before was sufficient when we were kind of small. But over the years, it's really grown. I mean, there's been concerts where you can't see any grass. It's just filled up with lawn chairs and blankets. And in fact, we had to move the dance floor. I had to have staff put cones in there because they were sitting up in the dance floor. So we had to kind of put cones in there because people love to come down and dance. So this new sound system is nice because it's up off the ground, so it can project out deeper into the park. And it's also surround, so they've got speakers in the back, on the side. So it's really projecting sound, and the quality is amazing. We've had some great bands come out, but a lot of excitement for this Thursday. If you have to make one, this Thursday would be one. I think you should make them all, quite frankly. They're all wonderful. But this year, this Thursday, the Infinity Project is a Journey cover band for Journey music. And last year when they came, it was the largest crowd I've ever seen at a Concert in the Park series. It was just packed. I anticipate this Thursday to be the same, and the weather I think is supposed to be a little nicer than it was last Thursday, which kind of dampened a little bit, but fantastic. Yes, I encourage everyone to come down. What's kind of cool about this is I get feedback. People come up and they just thank Puyallup for hosting this. But I had a woman, I was talking to her, she came all the way down from Seattle to participate in this concert in the park. So word's out on the street. Puyallup is the place to be. It's a cool little downtown vibe. You got the Thursday night market going on with the trucks and lawn chairs, and it's a really wonderful event. So looking forward to the remainder 6 or so weeks left on that. And let's see. I want to thank council for a small but significant support for allowing me to request me to see the video. I think there's a few of you who are not supportive of my recommendation of public safety with both blocks, but I was glad that you at least didn't suppress that information, even though some may say it's dated. It's still information for the record, and I appreciate the council's support to allow that to be seen, because I do think it is relevant, and I do think there's a place for that. So thank you. I was kind of concerned that if that would have got suppressed, it would have sent the wrong signal. So thank you for that, council. I appreciate that. And I think that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Councilmember Adler.
Thank you. I'll be brief and just remind folks that we are in a heat advisory until I believe either tomorrow night or Thursday morning. Right now it is 90 degrees at 8 o'clock. So please be sure to hydrate, check on folks that may need a little bit of a reminder to take breaks or visit a cooling site. I know that our Puyallup alerts notification system sent out alerts to those who are signed up regarding the extreme heat and some other information. I received an email, a text, and a phone call, so I guess I'm special, or I really needed those reminders. But anyways, just take care of folks and pets, especially. Be very mindful of also when you take your pets out on the hot cement, and see you at the end of August. Thank you.
Councilmember Castema.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I appreciate you reading that letter from Puget Sound Energy from Christine Nahn. I think it's very important that the citizens of Puyallup understand some of the changes that are coming about. But what she didn't go into was the fact that we're going to see significant rate increases in the city of Puyallup. I went to the UTC request, that's Utilities Transportation Commission, which Puget Sound Energy It's a private company, but they are governed or they are controlled by a public entity, that's the Utilities Transportation Committee, the UTC. A public-owned entity would be like Seattle Power and Light. It's interesting that both entities are experiencing similar increases in rates, but I went to their site to look at how much the rates are going to go up in Puyallup over the next 3 years. Just in the next year alone, 16.75% on electrical costs for residential, then it dips to 3.76, but then it goes to 8.81. And that's over what, a 3-year period? That's easily 30% increase in your electrical rates. Now in gas, we're looking at 13.2%, 3.04%, and another 4%. So we're looking at probably roughly around 20% increase with those. And I think the people of Puyallup need to be aware. And she did a very good job, but she didn't tell you how much it was going to cost. But she did say that the capital costs of meeting the goals in Washington State set out in 2019 of our electrical grid being greenhouse free by 2045, I think it's almost an impossible task for Washington State. But the publics and privates, both Seattle Public Power and Light and the privates, Puget Sound Energy, are all trying to hit those goals. I was glad that we went ahead and put a moratorium continued on the battery storage, but that's part of how they plan on meeting those goals. Because when you transfer more away from gas turbine plants, away from coal, which they were mandated to do in 2025, but when you mandate out of those and you go into solar and wind, the problem with solar and wind is, obviously, you get solar energy during the day when the sun shines, but you get nothing at night. And wind, ironically, you get it blowing during the day, but it really blows at night, and that's where you get most of the load. Well, wouldn't you know, the peak time for people to use energy is right around dinner time. And so you have a mismatch. So you have energy companies who are out there trying to say, well, let's store the energy so that we can go ahead and transfer to people when they need it. But the amount of expense this is going to cost the people in Washington State will be significant. And I just think people need to be aware of what's coming down the pike. And that was, by the way, the Clean Energy Transformation Act, called CETA, the acronym, passed in 2019. And I would just like to conclude tonight, though, by talking about the flagpole. I'm glad that we got the update on that. I look forward to that being erected and for us having a ceremony marking that. I need to remind the public on this, too, that back in February, the council had a retreat. It was February the 3rd. So we had a retreat. And we talked about projects that would be coming up. And this was a project that actually came up, recommended by a council member, is we have some way to memorialize the 250th anniversary of this country. Because I remember back in the 200th anniversary, because I was a young kid here in Puyallup, teenager, and I remember that, and that was a big event. But there was no memorial made at that time to the 200th anniversary. We had ceremonies, we had events, but then it was gone. And I really felt, and I think if you go back to the February 3rd meeting that we had, I think there was general support that we should have something like a flagpole. Now, at the time, I thought that the lodging tax would pay for it. We were later relieved to find out the Department of Transportation had agreed to pay for it. And so I thought, okay, we don't have to pursue that. But then later on, they reneged on that. They said, no, we're not going to pay for it. So we were pretty in a short change situation where we had to accelerate if we were going to do something. Hence, we put forward a proposal where the city funds it, but also we accept private contributions. I've heard some people say they have a little misgiving with the location. I think believe it or not, I have something to do with that location. Back about 15 years ago, when I was sitting on the Transportation Committee in the state legislature, we were trying to negotiate or trying to determine a replacement bridge for a Meridian. And I had seen what they had done in many other communities out there by putting platforms for art pieces. And I said, we need a platform like that on our bridge, at our entrance. So if you'll go there, you will see there's a cement pad there's been for probably 15 years thereabouts, or whenever that renovation was done. But it's been sitting there plain. And I have attended meetings where people talked about putting pieces of art there, and then that doesn't get funding. And so it seemed like an appropriate place, if we were going to put a memorial, that we put the flag there. So I know some people find that disagreeable, but I do think that come 10 years from now, when people look back and say, what happened at the 250th anniversary for this country in Puyallup? Hopefully they'll remember the big celebration we had, but I think they're going to look at that beautiful flag pole and say that memorializes that event for the city. And I think people will look back, they'll be very thankful that we did that. So with that, thank you, Mr. Mayor, for letting me make my comments. A little long-winded at that, but look forward to talking to everybody in the community. Thank you.
Councilmember Smolko.
Well, thank you, but I feel I'm going to just bring it back to the Parks and Rec. It must be just Parks and Rec Appreciation Night, because that was also on my agenda to speak to today. That online catalog, I had not looked at the online catalog before. My kids, when they were little, I looked at the one in Fife, Milton, Edgewood all the time, because that's where I lived prior to moving to Puyallup. If you haven't taken a look at the offerings of what Puyallup Parks and Rec has done, I know that sounds super naive, but I just hadn't really looked because my kids weren't doing camps anymore and classes and things like that. But I've tried to get myself in gear and trying new things this year. It's the year of saying yes. So yeah, I've done a lot of things that I've never done before, like sound baths, an adult art class that's taught by my friend, a fellow artist, and last night I did Zumba and survived to tell about it. So I encourage you, if you haven't looked at it, it's beautifully done. I don't know if AI was involved, but you cannot tell if it was. It's incredibly good looking and very easy to use. So for anybody of any age and stage, check out what they've got going on. It's a ton of stuff, and I'm increasingly impressed every time I go check it out. And that is all. Thank you.
Councilmember King.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, I want to say thank you to everyone that came out. It's always a pleasure to hear everyone's concerns and voices and comments, and also resolutions to issues that they have. And so that way we can make good decisions from their comments. So I appreciate that. Concerts in the Park, as Deputy Mayor Johnson mentioned, I was able to go to the first one, and that one was probably one of the biggest I've seen in comparison even to last year. And so to say that this Thursday is going to be jam-packed is pretty insane in and of itself. The sound is incredible. Absolutely phenomenal. Way, I mean, light years above what we had last year, thankfully. And, you know, the new sky rigs that they have to lift the speakers up allow for more viewable or views of the stage, I should say. You know, you don't have a big stack of speakers to look around. And I also have to say, you know, the company that the city contracted with, they went out and bought brand new speakers for this event to make it as good as it should be. And they bought them here locally through a company called McCauley, made and manufactured up on South Hill, up near Thunfield. Long-time company. And Mr. McCauley himself came down on that first concert and tuned the entire sound system to make sure that his speakers sounded the best when the concerts happened. And from what I understand, he came down for the company that we contracted with at no additional charge from what I understand. So that was obviously secondhand, so I don't know how that worked out, so don't quote me on that, but that was very kind of him. Regardless, of him having to come down and really making his product stand out. It's world-renowned stuff that is used all over the globe for concerts. So, little known fact, we have a great sound speaker manufacturing company here in Puyallup. Also, for those that don't know, it's going to get a little loud this weekend, not only from the concert, but the Good Guys Car Show is rolling in town. So we're going to have a lot of cool cars down at the Washington State Fairgrounds this weekend. So make sure you go check that out. And I look forward to attending that also. Just as another mention, the PPD is hosting an open house with our neighbors over at Maplewood Elementary this Wednesday, tomorrow, 6 p.m. So make sure you head over to Maplewood Elementary at 6 p.m. tomorrow to talk with our world-renowned Puyallup Police Department. Best in the biz. Also, thank you to Parks and Rec for your remedying of the cemetery. It is a lot better. Cody, if you're here, there you go. Kudos. I see that we also got a good compliment that was sent over to us for the hard work that your crew has been doing. So thank you for addressing those issues, and those that have loved ones there, I'm sure thank you as well. So thank you for taking care of that. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor. I look forward to returning here in September, and everyone have August. I'll be late apparently. So August. I'll see everyone at the end of August.
Thank you, and appreciate all those updates by my colleagues, keeping us attuned to what's going on in the city of Puyallup. Just a couple of comments about the PPD. The meeting at Maplewood is one of 4. There's 4 different patrol districts, so if you're in the Maplewood area, you should go to that one. But if you're in a different part of the city, that there'll be one in your area as well. So are those scheduled yet, Chief? So only the one has been scheduled at this time, but you can expect additional ones serving other corners of the city. Also, with regard to the PPD, we had a promotion ceremony today for now Captain David Bierbauer. He's been serving Puyallup for a long time, investigations and most recently, and proud to have him promotion. I was intending to be there and missed it, but I wanted to congratulate him on his promotion, and I think he will continue the high quality policing that we have in Puyallup. So if you see him, congratulate him on his promotion. And with that, that concludes my remarks, and thus we stand adjourned.